So here we are with another Kiss movie idea, and this time it's The Elder. So envision if Kiss did a big budget theatrical release in 1981 to accompany their Elder concept album. This plot idea is a sequel to my Return of the Phantom movie concept, so look back on my channel for that one. I had a lot of fun with this. I borrowed ideas from many different movies, and I tried to bring a lot of the Elder album to life. Now this is grittier than something like Phantom of the Park, but it still has a lot of fun mixed in there. I wrote a lot more dialogue for this, but I did a lot less graphics, so use your imagination. Now let's talk about the cast. Of course, we've got Kiss playing themselves. We have Nino Palouse playing the boy named Jonathan. We've got Anthony Hopkins as Morpheus and Raul Julia as the sinister Mr. Blackwell. And let's not forget Anthony Zerbe returning as Abner Devereaux. Let's get into it. Now Jonathan lives in an abusive home. The scene starts with him serving his alcoholic father dinner. They sit down to eat and his father takes a bite and he says, "You burnt it again," and he smashes him across the face. He says, "You're a loser, a screw-up. You'll never amount to anything," and he throws his plate across the room. Jonathan runs upstairs. His father says, "Go, run away, go hide and play your bullshit video games." Jonathan locks his bedroom door. A World Without Heroes begins to play. He's wiping away tears and he starts playing one of his video games. Now we get a look at his bedroom and we see Kiss posters and a drum set. Now on the line of the song that says, "You can't look up to anyone," we pan to his father drinking. Then we see rock magazine covers that show Peter Criss is quitting the band and others that say, "What happened to Kiss?" We show Kiss partying with girls, driving in fancy cars, and just getting caught up in the excess. The song fades. Next, we meet Stephen Blackwell. He's a sleazoid businessman who runs Blackwell Industries, a video game arcade business, and you can see arcade machines in his office. He's looking to get a new game off the ground called Blackwell's Castle, and he wants access to Abner Devereaux to help create it. He's been calling the warden of the prison where Devereaux's kept, but he's getting the runaround. He asks his secretary if there's any word from the warden. Now his interactions with her seem kind of shady. He's putting his hand on her shoulder, and it looks like it's unwanted. Now a random man approaches the front desk and hands Blackwell an envelope. "I've got what you're looking for." Blackwell pulls out pics in the envelope and laughs. Now he finally gets his meeting with the warden. In the warden's office, there are many pictures and certificates that pretty much paint the picture that the warden is a prominent person in the community. Blackwell: "If I didn't know any better, warden, I would say you've been avoiding me." The warden: "Look, I told you before, no, it's for your own good. Yes, Devereaux is brilliant, but he's dangerous. Prison breaks, mass mind manipulation, he needs to stay locked up tight." Blackwell hands the envelope to the warden. "What's this?" It's pictures of the warden with a woman who's not his wife. Blackwell speaks. "Now these are just copies, of course. Now, I wonder what all the people from your community groups would think of these. Or what would your wife think? Or your kids?" The warden: "You're a real piece of garbage, aren't you?" Blackwell: "No, I consider myself a fighter who loves to win, and I always win." Now Blackwell gets to see Devereaux, and he gives him a proposition. He's interested in his mind control studies. He wants to get people hooked on his new video game. Blackwell: "I know all kinds of people, Abner. I can work on getting you out of here." Devereaux says, "Kiss." Now Blackwell thinks he's talking about maybe having some girls visit the prison to kiss. So Blackwell says, "Okay, maybe I can get some girls in here for you." Devereaux: "No, the band Kiss. I want to destroy them." Blackwell: "Don't worry about them. Their careers are already done. They lost their drummer. They've self-imploded. They haven't done anything in years. Cut to some record company execs. They want Kiss to get making some new music pronto." Once again, we show Kiss lounging around, doing nothing, partying, hanging out. We show a record exec screaming on the phone, "I want them in the studio now." Back to Devereaux: "I want them dead." Blackwell: "We can work all that stuff out. Let's get this game together." Now an instrumental version of Odyssey plays to a montage of scenes. First, we show Devereaux working on the mechanism that he says needs to be in the arcade machine to accomplish the mind-manipulating messaging. It will create advanced stimulation, touching into the pleasure zones of the brain. But Devereaux has also made it have the ability to suck the player inside the game, and he's programmed in the makeup faces of Kiss. Once those are seen and scanned by the device, Kiss could potentially get warped inside the game. This can all be quickly explained by some typical monologuing or maybe just images of his designs in the specs. Now Kiss finally begin working on some new music in a remote studio with a fill-in drummer. There's an arcade pub they go to across the street from the studio called The Rose, and they spend time there when they're not recording. Abner hands over the plans to Blackwell. Abner, now let's talk about my release. Blackwell, I'll be in touch. And he walks away. We see arcade machines going into production, and people are getting hooked all over the world on this game because of its mind-manipulating properties. And Blackwell's making tons of cash because of it. Now, per Blackwell's deal with the warden, Abner is allowed to have access to a computer lab to continue their working relationship. A kid is playing Blackwell's Castle with a Gene Simmons solo album shirt on, and something goes off on Abner's computer. He's hoping the arcade machine recognized the face of a Kiss member, but it's a false alarm. He decides to see how his experiment works, and he zaps the player into the game. The kid gets warped into the first level, the Stormy Sea. Imagine dark, stormy, monster-infested waters with lightning and waves. And in typical horror movie fashion, the kid gets killed by a giant octopus. Now Blackwell realizes if he's able to pull the strings and get Devereaux released, Devereaux could try to take a stake in the game and try to get a cut of the money. So Blackwell makes a call to the warden saying that the warden was right. Blackwell believes Devereaux was working on some kind of stuff that would aid him in an escape. He tells the warden to take away all his equipment, and they send him back to his normal cell with no privileges. Devereaux realizes he's been played by Blackwell, and now there is a new person that Devereaux seeks to get revenge on. Jonathan is a high scorer on Blackwell's Castle. We see a clip of him in an arcade, and a crowd is watching him play and cheering him on. As he leaves the arcade, he sees a kid that's just been bullied laying on the ground, and he helps him up. He walks home with him. We see a brief glimpse of a mysterious hooded man watching it all. Now Kiss take another break at the Rose. The bartender tells them about this new hot game they've got called Blackwell's Castle. Ace goes over to play, and Gene and Paul go over to watch. As they do so, the arcade machine starts scanning their faces and bugging out because it detects a match. Electricity comes out of the game, and Kiss are warped inside of it. There's flashes of lights and flickering in the bar, and the bartender looks over in confusion and says, "Guys?" Now Kiss also end up on the stormy waters in the boat. Ace, wow, I must have had more drinks than I thought. Are you guys seeing this too? Gene, it's not you. Somehow we got warped into that game you were playing. Paul, Ace, why don't you teleport us back? His powers aren't working. Nobody's are. A giant tentacle comes out of the water and takes out a piece of the boat. Ace goes to the wheel and tries to steer. Gene, you have to shift the front of the boat toward the waves. Paul, big sailor, are you, Gene? Gene, I read a lot. After they avoid being capsized and killed by sea creatures, they end up on the shore of an island. Waiting for them on the shore is Morpheus. Hello, Kiss. Gene, who are you and what the hell's going on here? Morpheus explains all things. This is the workings of your old friend Abner Devereaux and a new tyrant, Stephen Blackwell. Kiss, you have gotten lazy. You were given great powers, but you have not been using them properly. Now they've been taken away. You have become seduced by money, success. The Elder have allowed all of this to happen for you to regain a sense of purpose. The Elder? Asked the members of Kiss. Yes, Morpheus says. The Elder are a group that has existed throughout the ages dedicated to combating evil. They are the ones that granted you your talisman, and I, Morpheus, am the one who recommended your appointment so long ago. Think of me as a scout for heroes. I'm sure you don't recall any of this. Most don't remember their moment of judgment by the Elder. They just remember finding and bonding with their talisman, and maybe show some clips of when Kiss found their talisman. The Elder prefer it that way. The three of you were brought here to renew your spirit and welcome another. Paul, a new drummer? Well, we've got a studio guy playing with us now. Morpheus, and how's that working out? Is there magic like when the band started, or are you just going through the motions? Kiss know that they are going through the motions. Morpheus. I must go now, Kiss. I'm a busy man. If all goes well, next time you see me, I'll be with your new member. For now, Kiss, go into the village. Eat, drink, and be merry. That's pretty much all you've been good at lately. Things go bad again at Jonathan's home. He cries himself to sleep. There's a thunderstorm. Lightning comes through the outlet where his game system is plugged in, and electrical beams surge out of the game system toward him, and he disappears. Jonathan wakes up in shock as he enters the game world, and he's on a boat on the stormy sea. Just a Boy plays, and it's almost like a music video. We see some clips of Kiss playing guitar around a fire for the medieval townspeople, and we see Jonathan navigating the monster-infested water. He can make it to the island, but he sees a young female town person clinging to a raft in trouble. He helps her, and they both get to shore safely. This was the final thing that Morpheus needed to see. Morpheus meets Jonathan on the shore. Morpheus. That was some fine sailing, young man. Jonathan. What happened? Is this a dream? How am I inside this game? Morpheus. I brought you here for many reasons. Jonathan. Well, can you bring me back? Morpheus. Back to what? Your father? And he explains that he's been watching Jonathan. Morpheus. I feel you have the making of a champion. Jonathan. I ain't no hero. I'm just a kid. Morpheus tells him, there's some people I'd like you to meet. And he takes him traveling through a portal.
Only you are the light. Only you are the way.
They end up in a smoky forest. And eventually all you see is the Elder Door. Jonathan asks, now what? See if you can gain access, says Morpheus. Jonathan yells, hello? Oh, they're not home. Let's go. Morpheus. Jonathan, place your hand on the ring and knock. Jonathan knocks, and he's immediately drawn in by the Elder's energy. He is floating above a table in the Council of the Elder. There was no one there, just silhouettes of energy. They read his heart and soul. Morpheus enters the council room.
You have been summoned here to offer your judgment of the boy. Do you still find him worthy of the fellowship?
Morpheus. I certainly do. I think you're going to like this one. He has a light in his eye and the look of a champion. A real champion. Morpheus speaks. Jonathan, the Elder have read your heart and soul, and your appointing has been approved. If you are able to complete a quest and stand with the four who are one, you will be granted a talisman that wields special powers. Now Kiss are lounging around in the town, hanging around with green trolls and medieval women. They catch up with Morpheus and he explains what's happening, and he introduced Jonathan to his heroes, but the feeling of admiration isn't mutual. Kiss are against Jonathan being in the band and they think he's just a kid. Ace. Our drummer? Forget a riser. This kid's gonna need a booster seat to see over the drums. And they all laugh. Morpheus. I can no longer interfere with this odyssey of yours. I will tell you this. You must travel this island and go to Blackwell's castle. There you will find the Dark Light. It's a crystal gem that gives Blackwell his powers. But the four of you can transform the darkness to light. It's the key to destroying him, and it's also the key of welcoming Jonathan. Now Blackwell's enslaved everyone on the island. There's a lighthouse out in the middle of the ocean that holds a glowing orb. When the dark light combines with it, Blackwell's hold over the island will be reversed, and you, Kiss, will be able to escape and go back to your reality. Now it's time for Kiss to head off in their journey. The first roadblock on the path to Blackwell's castle, and it's the second level of the game, are the Stone Titans. They are menacing giants that stomp and punch the ground as soon as you approach them to pass. Ace. You know, I'm pretty thirsty. Let's head back to the village. Jonathan explains their movement as a pattern. 1 punch right, 2 punches left, 1 stomp left, 3 stomps right. Once they pass through each limb, they rock climb up the titans and they jump from one titan to the other to get to an elevated path. The giants begin to rumble. Paul doesn't make the jump and he grasps to the side of the second stone giant. Ace pulls him up to safety. Don't worry, Paul, he says. I wouldn't let you hit rock bottom. Gene. Good job, kid, he says to Jonathan. Now the path elevates up a mountain and it gets very cold and snowy. Paul. I'm not sure we're dressed for the occasion as they enter the tundra. All of a sudden, Kiss hear a familiar sound. It's the howls of the space apes, but now they are snow apes. The path is in a valley, and the snow apes are rolling a giant snow boulder to each other on each elevated side. Now there's no silver suits, it's just all white fur. Paul, these guys look familiar. Gene, remember Devereaux had a hand in creating this monstrosity of a game. Ace, what's the pattern, kid? Jonathan tells them, 2 in a row with a pause, 2 in a row with a pause, 3 in a row with a pause, and 1 with a short pause, so you've got to be fast. Paul, I've got this. They call me Mr. Speed. And they all laugh. Good one, Paul, says Ace. Now they all make it, but Ace gets hit with the final rolling snow boulder, and he disappears. Ace! He starts to flash and then reappears. Ace, wow, I feel like I've lost a part of myself. Jonathan, you did. You lost a life, and we each only have 3, so you guys have to be careful. All of a sudden, a giant snow boulder falls from above and crushes Jonathan. He flashes and reappears. Gene, you were saying? Jonathan begins to laugh nervously. From Blackwell's castle, someone is watching Kiss through a giant telescope, and Blackwell's on his throne. There are stacks of gold coins and rubies on each side of him, and in the far corner you can see the dark light glowing dark blue. His minions pour out more gold coins. He screams, "Is that all you could get from those pathetic villagers? Go back and beat them down and get me more." In walks another subject. "Your Majesty, there are outsiders approaching the castle. They have made it past the stone titans and the snow creatures." Blackwell, "Double your efforts. They must not make it inside my castle." We cut back to the real world. Stephen Blackwell pops up from his bed sweating. On the side of the bed, there's a newspaper that says, "Blackwell investigated for fraud." He grabs a pill bottle and pops a bunch of pills. The line of the song plays, "You cheat and lie and wonder why you can't sleep at night." As Kiss and Jonathan head down the mountain, they reach the final obstacle they must complete before they can access Blackwell's castle. We see Morpheus, and he's observing them on some kind of control panel. Now things heat up as the path is surrounded by lava lakes. Ace speaks. "We went from freezing our asses off to being hotter than hell." Paul finishes his sentence and they all chuckle. Gene starts in with his fatherly talk. "You know, going from extreme cold to extreme heat, that's how people get sick." Jonathan pipes in, "If anyone gets sick, we'll call out Dr. Love," in his best Paul voice, and he gets everybody laughing. Paul shoves him. "Not bad, kid." Now this scene we're trying to show that Kiss is warming up, no pun intended, to Jonathan. Kiss are approached by an old man. "Help! My daughter has been taken by the lizard people. You must help her." "We're already on a mission," says Paul. "We don't have time for all this." Jonathan interjects. "This is part of the game. If we save his daughter, he'll supply us with things we need to overtake Blackwell's castle." Back at Blackwell's castle, his subjects bring in a beaten-down wizard who is actually Abner Devereaux before Blackwell. "I need you to create me a weapon," says Blackwell. "There are powerful outsiders approaching." Devereaux says, "I've given all I'm able to. I have no more." Blackwell nods and his subjects whip and beat Devereaux down. Blackwell screams, "You will give me more, wizard!" One of his servants hands him a chalice. He makes a toast. "I drink to sorrow. I drink to waste. I drink a toast to the inhuman race." He takes a sip and immediately spits it in the face of the servant. "Dreadful! Where's the alcohol? This is like water. Bring me a proper drink, fool!" Jonathan tells Kiss to follow his lead as they begin crossing the moving stone bridge to save the man's daughter. The stone pieces move in and out, some slow and some fast, in typical video game fashion. Once it moves in the proper place, they are able to move forward. Once they reach the lizard people lair, they come out and attack. It's going to have to be an old-fashioned beat-em-up. Paul gets punched. Ouch! It's been a while since I've been in a fight. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Paul and Ace punch and kick the lizard people, throwing them into the lava. Gene gets overtaken by 2 of them, and he gets dropped into the lava. He starts flashing and then reappears behind them. "I don't like to lose," says Gene, and pushes them both off the ledge. They make quick work of the lizard people and find the old man's daughter. The guys in Kiss are like, "Hello there." Jonathan says, "Guys, she's pretty shaken up. I think she's ready to go back home. Not on a date." They agree. Jonathan finds a lever that stops the moving bridge so they can all walk back easily. For their heroic efforts, the old man provides them with horses and weapons. Gene is given an axe, Paul a sword, Ace a mace, and Jonathan a crossbow. They ride until they reach the desolate forest in front of Blackwell's castle. They can see the mighty castle in the distance. Some sections of the castle are shown along with the various soldiers that protect it. As it fades, you're waiting for something serious and epic to happen. They ask Jonathan, "So what's next?" He says, "I don't know. I've never made it this far in the game." And the KISS members look at each other in irritation. Blackwell's soldiers start to yell and they begin to rush KISS. KISS charge forward. Now we see various clips of the guys beating on these soldiers, kind of similar to the way you would see stormtroopers in Star Wars getting wrecked by the heroes. Now how epic would it look to see the KISS members riding horses, huh? We cut quickly to one of Blackwell's subjects giving him a weapon that appears to be a laser cannon. He's told that the wizard says it can be powered by the crystals of the dark light. Blackwell puts a small piece of the crystal in the cannon and it lights up. Paul swipes off one of Blackwell's soldiers' head with a sword. Ace sees and says, "After all these years, they're still losing their heads over you, Paul." Gene throws his axe and hits an evil soldier, so he's stuck to a tree. He rides over and pulls the axe out to use it again. Jonathan notices a secret path that leads to the castle with minimal resistance. Paul, Gene, and Ace approach the castle door. We see a quick glimpse of Jonathan using a ladder on the side of the castle, climbing to its top. Blackwell opens the door with laser cannon in hand. "Welcome to Blackwell's castle." He blasts KISS and they disappear. "Sorry you couldn't stay." He tosses the cannon and heads back to his throne. KISS flash and reappear on the roof of the castle. "How'd we get up here?" Jonathan, "When you lose a life and your teammate is farther ahead in the game, you'll come back to that furthest spot. But you guys are getting low on lives. What if the third time you die is for real in this game? Now to get across the roof of the castle, you have to sneak past a long row of swinging axes." Paul tells him, "We're coming with you." Jonathan, "No, you guys stay here. I'll get the dark light and meet you at the front of the castle." Jonathan crawls past the swinging axes, following the game patterns. Once past, he drops down inside of the castle. He's in Blackwell's chamber. The throne turns around and Blackwell says, "Nice of you to drop in." Blackwell pulls a lever where Jonathan stands and he falls into a pit, and that takes his second life. KISS have a vibe that things are not going well for their young friend. Paul says he has an idea. He starts yelling, "Morpheus!" and the others join in. Morpheus can see them from his control center. Paul says, "We were wrong about Jonathan. He's an amazing kid. It'd be an honor if he joined us in KISS. We're worried about him. He needs our help." Now Jonathan flashes and is back at the level he was at. He looks closer and he can see the faint outline of the various squares on the floor. Blackwell keeps pulling levers and different squares on the floor open, but he's able to avoid them. Blackwell begins screaming at him, "You're just a boy, a loser," and all of a sudden Blackwell's voice becomes his father's, and we see the opening scene. "A screw up, you'll never amount to anything." Morpheus is at his control center. You know, in these games, sometimes there's a power up. He hits a button, and suddenly a box appears near Jonathan. He sees it and goes to it. Blackwell pulls a giant sword from the back of his throne, and he's ready to strike Jonathan down and end his run in the game. Inside the box is a talisman, and it's the head of a fox. Winds blow, lights flash, and Jonathan transforms from a boy into a man in black clothing and with the KISS makeup of a fox. Blackwell, "This means nothing. You still have no chance and no one believes in you." Jonathan says, "I believe in me." He begins to glow orange. Jonathan rushes Blackwell at super speed. He strikes him with a high-speed punch, and he goes flying out a stained glass window and lands below on a bunch of rocks. He's dead. Now KISS can tell their powers have been restored. They use their powers to blow up the mechanism of axes to pass freely to meet up with Jonathan. "Jonathan? Hey guys." "Ace, looking good, man." Jonathan looks himself over in a mirror in the chamber in disbelief. Paul says, "Like a fox," and they all give each other high fives. Morpheus' face appears in holographic form to the members of KISS. "Well done, KISS. You have defeated Blackwell, and now once again the four have become one. Jonathan, you have become one with your talisman. Now you must leave your old life behind. You will now be known as Eric Carr the Fox. KISS, take the dark light and escape from the island. You still must cross its treacherous waters to combine it with the glowing orb, and then you will be transported back to your world." They grab the dark light. Ace teleports them back to the shore and they jump in the boat. Now it's time for KISS to finally show off their powers. Now the water's loaded with insane sea creatures. Each member is covering their own section of the boat, warding off the creatures. One giant piranha comes up for a bite where Gene is. He blows fire at it and it dies, totally engulfed in flames floating up above the water. A giant eel comes to the back where Ace is. It dives at him, trying to bite him, but misses. Ace blasts off his head with electricity from his finger. A shark takes a bite where Paul's at. He shoots his eye laser at the shark's eye, blowing it out, blinding it, and it swims away. The giant octopus is back. He comes above the water. Its tentacles latches on the boat. With super speed, Eric runs up the tentacle and gives the octopus a super-powered flying kick, and it swims away. Now they reach the glowing orb. Go for it, Eric! Eric climbs to the top of the lighthouse and puts the dark light crystal into the orb. A bright light shines across the island. The darkness is lifted. The townspeople smile and cheer, and Kiss disappear. Now, Kiss are back in New York City in front of Blackwell Industries. They go in. The receptionists are surprised to see Kiss. They say, "We love you, Kiss." They're starstruck. "Can I use this?" asks Gene. He picks up the phone, and the implication is that he's calling the cops. Eric notices a small tape recorder on the desk, and he grabs it. One of the receptionists just stares at him and says, "What a fox." They kick down Blackwell's office door. "Kiss, what the hell are you doing here? Wow, you guys look rough. And you stink like fish." "We were trapped in this nightmare video game of yours," yells Gene, and he points at the Blackwell's Castle arcade machine. Ace zaps the machine and it blows up, and he says, "Ack, you gave Devereaux free reign and he put something in these machines that warped us inside the game," says Paul. Blackwell, "Hey now, I just recruited Devereaux for his expertise in mind control and manipulation. I just wanted kids to get hooked on the damn thing so I could make some money. But putting someone inside of a game? That's revolutionary. Like some kind of virtual reality. Something like that could really put me on the map." Paul, "No, it's going to put you in jail." The police investigators walk in. "Game over, Blackwell," says Gene. Blackwell laughs. "You've got nothing, Kiss. You think anyone is going to listen to some washed-up rockers?" "Literally washed up," he mutters after. Eric, "They'll listen to you saying it." He throws the tape recorder to the investigators. "I recorded it all." Ace, "Wow, Sly is a fox too." The investigator, "We've got a lot of stuff on Blackwell. This is just the icing on the cake." Blackwell's in shock and his face turns white. Eric, "Hey, you don't look so well, Mr. Blackwell." Kiss begin to laugh. The investigators approach him and cuff him. He begins to scream, "This is nothing, Kiss. I'll be out on bail tomorrow. I'll be suing you for what money you have left. You'll see, Kiss. You've got nothing on me." "I've got an idea," says Gene. "It's only noon. Let's put on a surprise comeback show tonight at the Palladium. We'll introduce our new member, Eric Carr, and we'll tout it as the return of Kiss. A big media blitz. Let me make a few calls." He picks up Blackwell's phone, and the other guys just shrug and smile. Now we cut to a packed house with Kiss performing "I." As the song plays, we see other clips intermixed, like Blackwell's castle being pulled from arcades. We see Blackwell in prison, and we show various newspapers with titles like "Blackwell accused of mind control," or that he's investigated in the disappearance of a teenage boy. We see Jonathan's dad drinking, crying, staring at his picture. We see Morpheus in the crowd. He smiles as he watches his heroes play, and then he leaves. He gets a call from what appears to be a wrist phone, and it beep rings the fanfare song. It's the elders.
"Excellent work, Morpheus. The four are one again. Order has been restored."
"Yes, my lords. They all have that light back in their eyes. Real champions. Real champions." As he walks, he disappears. Kiss take a bow as the crowd goes wild. The end.